Hello, thank you for joining us. You are joining Real Boys Talk, where we have the featured show of Shooting the Shit with the Bros of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I am Cupid, your host, and these are my bros. Today, we are starting a series of breaking down this Project 2025. Reason being is because we feel like you don't really understand or don't really take a heed to what could happen if you don't vote. So we want to make sure that everyone really truly understands how this man will affect your future. So this is just part one of, I'm sure, many series we're going to be doing until November. And at the end of every one, we're going to tell you, make sure you're registered, make sure you go and verify that you're registered, and make sure that you are there either ahead of time, early voting, or you get you a ride to the poll. And my bruh, Max is going to help us to make sure we know exactly where those locations and ways that we can get places as we go along. All right. So today we are going to tackle two pieces of this particular, I guess I'm going to say, what are we going to call this? This is a document, very big 922 page document. So we're going to tackle the healthcare part of it first. And then we're going to also talk about discrimination in terms of LGBT community, which will definitely affect each and every one of us on here and those who are also listening. So let's jump in. One of the things that is being said, and Max helped me out with this one, is that we all know that those people that we know who have diabetes were having very hard time affording their insulin. Well, the Democrat Party and Biden, we have a guest coming. We're going to add them to this. And Biden and Harris made it so that price would not be able to be higher. It was actually lowered. And that allowed us to have everyone who had diabetes or needed that insulin, that gave them an opportunity to be able to afford their medication, not have to go to Canada where it's $3 a bottle instead of paying $50, $60 a bottle for the insulin. So Max, start us off with for everyone who's listening, Max is actually taking the time to go to the Project 2025 and really look at it. What I've been doing and what most of the brothers here have been talking to and our special guest, we have been looking at a Cliff Note version. So Max, what did you get from that piece as well? What did you read in that instance?
So when it comes to the health part of this, right, it's so many different pieces to it, right? It's so many different pieces to it. So how do you want me to break this down? How are we going to break this down? So are we going to talk about the abortion part and the women's reproductive rights, or are we going to talk about like the Medicaid, Medicare?
Let's do the Medicaid, Medicare part and medicine. Let's do that first. Then let's get into go into the abortion part of this, because that piece of the abortion reproductive rights goes very well with the next piece of the LGBT restrictions.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Medicare is for like seniors 65 and older, right? Normally, that's what Medicare is for. There are certain instances where individuals below 65 can get it if they have certain disabilities. Medicaid is for low-income families with limited resources and stuff like that. So that's Medicaid. So they're both government type of programs, and they've also helped with prescriptions and things of that nature. There are also other programs, government programs and private programs that help individuals with medication, offset medication costs. For instance, myself, I take a very, very, very expensive medicine, Tyserabri, yeah. Without insurance, it's about $5,000. That's just for the medicine. That does not include me going to the facility and the facility cost. That does not include the actual IV that they have to stick me in. You have to remember everything that a doctor touches or uses in a hospital or facility, your insurance is charged for. The Band-Aid that you get, the Benadryl that they give you, the aspirin that they give you, everything has a charge to it. So you have to remember that. Okay. A lot of individuals get their insurance through their jobs. If you're not low income and you're working, you get health benefits through your job, which is normally group rates and stuff like that. If we go through Project 2025, our rates are going to go up so high because what they're going to want, we wouldn't be able to afford. The type of healthcare that we would want, we wouldn't be able to afford. It would literally go to the rich. The type of healthcare that we currently have in place right now, it would go to the rich, if not better. We would lose Medicaid, we would lose Medicare. The hospitals, the rural hospitals will shut down, and it will be a disaster.
So let me add, and this is where everybody, y'all can chime in because I want y'all's opinion on this. Based on what you're hearing, what do you think is the ultimate goal for that? If this is what this piece is saying, what do you think the ultimate goal of them doing this is going to be? And anybody can chime in on it.
I'm gonna just say it. It sounds like they just want to get rid of the old sick people, bring in a whole bunch of new babies into the world, but at the same time, they want to cut overtime laws and practices at jobs. They don't want to help you pay for daycare or take away these Head Start programs for these same babies that they want you to bring into the world. They increasing, they taking away medical benefits. It's an attack on poverty. That's what it is. It's an attack on impoverished people that they look down on. And that's one way to start eradicating us, or then put us into a point where we can be controlled, or honestly, it's almost like you're watching, like they taking these movies that we seen, Hunger Games, Handmaid's Tale, and it's about to be something real. Like, it's mind-boggling. Like, they really feel like this is making America great. Like, you just really trying to stamp out the poor people, elevate rich people, and then keep everybody and keep people in their place. That's what it is. Because they're attacking even DIE projects and everything. Huh?
Take this concept that there are 10 states that are the poorest. Okay. And out of those 10 states, 9 of them are Republican states. So not only are you're the concept that Max just gave us, that this insurance, to get insurance is going to be so high, to have the medicine is going to be so high. It's also going to, they are going to affect their own people. Because if you are 9 out of 10 states are poor and they're Republican, do they not realize that this will also affect those people, their own support?
That's why I said poor people. I don't think it's necessarily race, because white people are poor too, black people are poor, but they're trying to stamp us out, or not us, but stamp poor people out, and then, like I said, and then have some type of control to where, and poor people won't be able to advance anywhere, like job wise, community, like they're just trying to eradicate all of that.
Now, getting rid of Medicare, which is for our 65 and up, and getting rid of Medicaid which is those that are in lower income, what kind of effect will that have?
I don't think they would necessarily get rid of it. I don't think it would ever go away. But what will happen is they would make it so where the private companies will come in and take over. And it will just destroy everything. That's the thing about it. It will make it to where hospitals can't take Medicaid and Medicare because they don't have funding for it. There's not enough funding for it. The funding will dwindle.
So here's the thought. We know so we know that most of our elderly family members that we have in our family, like my mom, she gets Medicaid. That means that now if this what Max is saying becomes true, because we don't think that fat meat is greasy, then that means that now, as I'm her daughter, that means we now have to truly take care of our elderly. Like I would have to pay for my mother to get a private insurance. Is that what you all are seeing as well by what she's saying?
I'm saying that they just don't want you to have access to healthcare, medicine. Old people, they want them to die sooner. Get rid of the old. That's because the way it seems like the way they think is that's wasted money paying for people at a certain age, because usually people want to take care of those type of folks and not take away things and try to figure out how to make their life more comfortable in their later years. But the way this thing is worded and how they going about it, it just kind of seems like I said, kill off the old people, cut off their benefits, and then bring all these new babies that people can't afford into the world and overpopulate the poor people, and then it just is, I don't know, it's scary because we're like a couple months away from something that could totally change everybody on this lives and our friends and family and things like that. So
most definitely. And here's a thought. Historically, when it comes down to bearing children, when times are hard, more or less people who are in lower income have more children during that time period than those that have that are making money, that are up in the upper middle class or in the 1%, or that have money that can afford to have children. They don't normally have children. So when times are hard, those people that are really in rough, have low income, they're usually making more babies. So that might not work to their advantage. I don't think they've thought that piece out very well. I
have a question. Who on here would, if the healthcare reform from Project 2025 was to come true, how many of us know somebody who would be personally affected by it?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
I will be more so than anyone else. I would say next to probably Max in terms of medicine, because I actually get my insurance from the marketplace. I get affordable health care. That is how I have my insurance with Oscar. So if any of this comes into play, I'm pretty much up a creek. And so, yes, I think and think about this. Would this this is another question. Those of us who have insurance with our jobs, will this affect that? Are you safe just because you have insurance with your job? See, these are things that if you think about it, if we don't know the answer right here, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be, yes, it will affect you in some form. Your insurance might go up, because one of the things that they're also saying in here is that they can make private insurance companies can charge you whatever they want to charge you.
Yeah, because there's no governing body with private insurance companies to determine what the ceiling is, on what they charge. Where is most companies that are within an employer have a ceiling of some type. But when you have these private companies, that gets to be a an open market, because who's governing a private company?
That's what you got to think of. And so, talking about medicine, let's go to the fact that yes, Roe versus Wade has been overturned. People are saying it's against the law to have an abortion. States are taking really crazy laws they're putting in. Indiana has it where that if you're raped, you have to have permission from your rapist to even get an abortion. And then they're also telling you that if that rapist says no, then you have to share custody with that rape. That means that even though that rapist went to jail for raping you, you gotta take your child there every other weekend and say, here's daddy, let's go visit. You don't have a choice. That is their law. But one of the things that the Project 25 is going to do for you is that as of right now, yes, you got to figure out ways to be, if you are someone who is wanting to get an abortion, and sometimes, and I will say this, I almost died. I almost fell out crying. This lady was telling her story about how, because of the laws right now, her baby was not alive inside of her. And they needed to have done an abortion to get the baby out. But because of the laws, she had to carry the baby to a term, and then they had to induce a labor. For you to know that you have this in you and that your baby is not going to be your baby, this is not going to be your baby, basically, that she had to endure hours to have her child because of the fact that, one, the laws that we just put in place. So there's no wiggle room for medical health issues with a woman. You would rather have this woman possibly die or have her baby die than to do what can be a healthy thing for her. And I feel like this, abortion is on your body, your right to make your decision. It is not for me to say. It is not for the law to say. But as of right now, that is. Now, getting to the point of it is that in the Project 2025, they're saying that any kind of medicine that is for an abortion will be illegal, which means you cannot order it and have it sent to you, because right now I think you can. There is, I believe, I guess that's what is that, Plan B. You can have that and it will, do what it needs to do. But with this, there's nothing you can do. If we allow this to happen, how do you all feel about if this happens, that you can't even order nothing? Nothing. If you get caught pregnant, you pregnant. Think about that. If you didn't want to, you don't have no choice. And then let's throw a little bit of crazy on it. We all know that some of our heterosexual friends are a little promiscuous. They don't always wrap it up. And you ain't wrap it up, partner, you're going to have to marry her.
So look, unpopular belief, I'm against abortion in that sense, in the irresponsibility part. Okay? I mean, now, in our minds, if we knew in this world that there was no abortion, prior to, there was no technology, no medicine or whatever to keep women from having babies, people would be more responsible. That's how I just feel that. I feel that. All these, I slipped up, I lost a friend, a guy, real cool at work, just, work bro, work sis. And he made a comment on Father's Day on Facebook, oh, well, I could have been a father, but thankfully, she accepted this 500 or something. But I still consider Happy Father's Day to me, or some wild and crazy, and put LOL and laughing emojis. And I lost it. Because I'm like, first of all, you don't know how she feels, honestly. She may have told you she was okay with it, but you don't know what she's really feeling. And I'm like, that's disrespectful as hell. Two, why the fuck is it funny? What is so funny that you dodged a bullet from being irresponsible, and now you get to laugh about it and joke about possibly you could have been a daddy today and blah 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 blah. And he was like, man, it was just a joke. You ain't even. I'm like, nah, but where's the joke though? Where's the joke?
And that may
Right?
be one. That may be one reason why she did not want him as a father. But you also have to consider who you lay with and who you are partnered with. You know,
Exactly. That's why I say, in that sense, I don't condone it. Now, everything else, health wise, rape, incest, all that stuff, definitely. I mean, if that's, some people still go through those type of things and want to try to see or make it go, see if it's gonna work, or still want to bring the baby to term, whatever, psychologically or whatever, spiritually, religiously, whatever but they have a choice. In that, I support 100%. You have a choice, do what you want to do. I might judge you and look at you funny any other any other way after that. I mean,
you
I'm
know,
just saying. I get it. Some people are young or they don't have the money or whatever, but I don't know.
but
That's just my
I kind of
personal opinion.
can relate to and understand where you're coming from on that point of view, because when we think of years ago, um, what were those ramifications? You know, when you didn't have those options years and years
The
ago. You
scary
know,
shit.
was there the type of you know promiscuous activities that we have today? And it does seem that you know there's no care on who you sleep with and how many babies and and how many pregnancies there we seem to have moved away from marriage and family and those types of things um, prior to or whatever the case may be with kids. So I understand where you're coming from with that, and so many kids out here um, without a responsible or without two parents or however the case may be. However, when it comes to abortion and a woman's choice, you know, uh, being at risk, medically, having being raped, being in law enforcement as long as I have, and watching women have to deal with the child or see a child that they went to term with, and seeing that child looking like the person that raped them. They chose to have the child because they didn't believe in abortion or what have you, and the trauma that they go through, in those cases, or having to make the choice, the baby or the mother. So I think there needs to be something put in place in extenuating circumstances. You know what I mean? It's medical or when it's rape. We still people still seem to feel like it's a woman's fault to be raped. What did you have on? What did you say? What did you do?
Mhm.
That's neither here nor there. You didn't have a right, to do that to that person. You know what I mean? So, there needs to be something in place in those cases. But I do respect and understand what you mean by, if you didn't have those choices, would you be laying, with the number of people that you lie with? And again, what's funny? You know
And
what I
you
mean?
and you might still lay with all them people, but you might be a little bit more mindful of what's going on. Big C and then Max.
I agree. It should be something in place. I feel like it should vary by situation, by case.
Mhm.
In situations like you all just mentioned, yes, I feel like that is a valid reason to uphold, the decision to have an abortion. But back to what KRG was saying as far as responsibility, yes. Maybe if there was something in place, it may, stop some people for just having kids, knowing that they're not going to take care of their responsibility. But in contrast to that, we also have to think back before they had abortions and Plan B or whatever. Back when grandma and them was having kids, grandma had 10, 11 kids, and whether it was irresponsible or responsible, that was most of the time the child was born, unless they died at childbirth. You had the child. So I do feel like there should still be that option for women who are, exposed to different things or getting pregnant through rape or I guess molestation, all that same thing. But yeah, I feel like it should be an option for those women, but just for the average woman who doesn't want to take care of the child, then no.
Max,
Okay.
Chime in.
Yes, I do. I'm gonna take this all the way back to having a woman's choice. Okay. Why is it that me at 25, I can't go to my gyno and say, I want my tubes tied. I don't want kids. What they gonna tell me?
Oh, you got to have at least 2.
What they gonna tell me? No, you're too young. You're gonna want to change your mind. No, I can't do it. You're too young. There's no reason for me to do. No, I'm telling you, I don't want kids. I don't even want the possibility of me having children. No, you too young. And then they refuse to do it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna bring it back again. My body, my choice. Right? I don't care if you was hoeing around. That is beyond me. I don't care about any of that. What you had a one night stand, whatever. It has to be all or nothing. We can't govern one part of it and then not the other. It has to, because again, my body, my choice, right? And I hope and pray and wish that things would change in that type of world, to where if a woman is 23, 24, and 25, and she says, I want my tubes tied, I don't want children, that they will accept that. And they don't need their husband's permission to get it done, or they don't need the counseling of their boyfriend or their fiance or their husband. Like women have made those choices before. Some women do not want to have children at all, and that should be okay. So again, we have to put it back on the medical professionals, right? Like my body, my choice, because I'm fighting for all of it. I'm not just fighting for reproductive rights and abortion rights. I'm fighting for all of it. Like I should be able to walk in as a 30-year-old and say, I want this. Go.
And think about this. With this ban and what they're trying to do, they're basically also getting rid of in vitro fertilization.
Yeah.
So that
they didn't know that.
Let's think
they
about
didn't know
that
though.
Huh?
They didn't know that. They didn't know that when they was fighting for it, when they wanted them to sign those bills. They didn't realize that IVF and in vitro and all of that was tied to it.
Yes.
They were just like, oh, we stopping people from killing babies. Let's go. Oh yeah, we stopping you from making them artificial too. How about that?
Exactly. And so let's take that and put that into our world. Okay. Because there's some of us who are masculines who want to have children with our partners. And our partner is not a man. Our partner is a woman. And we want to carry that child, or our partner can't carry that child. Or I have some friends that the film carried both kids, but the first kid was the stud's eggs and the second one was the fem's eggs. So they have 2 kids, beautiful, beautiful kids. But with this mindset of this Project 2025, they would never be able to do that. Never be able to do that. So that takes the rights of you and I to say, you can't do it. You will not be. I want people to have children, but unless you're doing it with a man, the natural way, you won't be able to have children.
Oh, and it's not even that. Adoption goes into that too. They don't even want same-sex couples to adopt. I need for y'all to understand, like that's in there too.
Like
all of
understand,
this ties into it. All
You
of this
guys-
ties into it. They don't even want y'all to have kids because guess what? The kids need to have a mother and a father. And if any of the parents are unfit, if both of the parents are unfit, the child is removed and placed in another family immediately. Like they not even giving you no chance. Like, have y'all read this?
Like
Have
this
y'all
is like
read
this is a nightmare that people do not understand. This is a nightmare, and I know we're taking this little piece, and we've actually dipped into different sections of the project, but we still have to. I mean, I want you also to understand that with this piece that we're talking about now, because we talked about Medicaid and all of that, and talking about medicines, they're going to get rid of the FDA. Let me explain what that can mean to us as Black women. There is an understanding, and I don't care how you look at history. It started with us. It started with us. Okay, Black women are the essence of life, and with that, we also understand that there are drugs out there right now that can harm only us, and there's testing that on drugs that have never been tested on us that they're wanting to put out there, knowing that if we get it, it can harm us in all kinds of different ways. So when you think about this, if you do not have the FDA, that means all of us on here right now could go put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and come up with our own little pill and say, this pill is a diet pill. You will lose weight taking this pill. And we would, yes.
Henrietta Lacks.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Henrietta Lacks. I was
Absolutely.
trying to remember her name.
Absolutely.
Henrietta Lacks.
That has
forever. That's
that has the
Think about
cells.
that. I need you all to also think about that. And this is just overall. This is even beyond. Take this from what we're saying here today. Is that one, when you go to the doctor, ask 1,000,001 questions. He does not work. You do not work for him or her. They work for you. You got to ask 1,000,001 questions about what somebody is telling you that says they're your doctor. And if this goes into play, that doctor can go, oh, you got a migraine? Let me give you this. This is a new pill that this pharmaceutical dude just made up in his basement. I'm going to give it to you. Because there's no FDA, there's no regulations on anything. I'm gonna give you another, and I'm gonna let Elite say. And Elite will, because Elite is in the fitness environment, she'll be able to amen what I'm about to say. If you take hydroxycut, stop it. For Black people, Black women and I learned this from being at GNC, just listening to people and reading stuff. Hydroxycut makes us have high blood pressure. It works against your body, and especially when it comes to Black women. And it makes hypertension even worse for you. So I know for a fact that, and that's the thing, FDA, if we do not have regulations on the things that are coming out, you might be taking anything. They can put anything in a pill and you don't know what's going on. Go ahead, Elite.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you don't know your body and you don't know your body, your blood types and what you are resistant to and things like that, then you absolutely have no idea the reactions that it'll have, and just going by, hey, let me take this because this person told me to do so, or this doctor told me to do so. And FDA, it just reminds me of going back to when we were experimented on in the military. You know, openly, okay, let's see what disease this is and what disease that is, and we're going to use people of color to do so. And that,
what is
moving
it?
back to
Tuskegee? No.
absolutely,
Tuskegee.
absolutely, absolutely, Tuskegee.
Okay, yes, Tuskegee.
One of the many. That is just the most popular because families were compensated for that. You know, I believe during the Obama administration or somewhere around in there. But there are so many that were done from syphilis on. You know what I mean? Without FDA control. I was going to say, for those that don't know who Henrietta Lacks is, if Max, if you could expand, on her cells and what they have done and what they have been capable of, and that those families not being compensated in reference
Not
to
at
Henrietta
all.
Lacks.
Henrietta Lacks was a Black woman. Did she have cancer? I want to say she had cancer, right?
Yeah, she did. She did, bro.
Okay.
No, she did.
She had
I
cancer,
thought she died from cancer.
but they used her body. That's
Okay.
the thing. They kept her cells of her body, and they have used these cells for years. I don't know exactly how many. Big C, do you know about how many years?
Up to
They
current.
do it now.
And up
I
to
mean, they
current.
still do
They
it now, but
still
like
use them
how
now.
long
They
has it
still use
been?
Because that's one of the
So
go ahead. And the many diseases that her cells have been
exactly.
just
Hold on, I'm
What
trying to
happened?
see how long.
They
But
use
yeah,
her
her cells have made treatments for HIV, Parkinson's disease,
cancer.
cancers, different cancer treatments, like almost any major disease or virus or whatever, like disease has been researched with her cells. Like this woman has not rested at all since she's died. They continue to use her cells, and I know her family has pleaded with the medical world. I think they've been trying to take it to court, and I know it's expensive, hella expensive, for them to stop using her body like that. And I don't think they've been successful because they still continue to use her cell. Like it's
Her cells is what lifted stem cells research, because it's something about her specific cells. They regenerate themselves. Humans don't do that. Like for some reason, her cells are just they regenerate. So that's why they're able to keep using it and keep replicating it and using and infecting it with different diseases to see what medicines and that's her cells kicked off all the medical research that they've been doing from whatever, I think, what was it,
including the
1900s or 50s?
coronavirus.
Exactly.
Everything.
Yes.
And her family,
Everything, any kind of disease out there, it starts with her cells because that's what they start testing on first in stem cell
her
research.
family has never been compensated. Never. Ever.
Not one
Nothing.
penny. Not
I
one
think
penny.
they tried. I think they tried to. They gave like maybe her grandkids or great grands like college scholarships or something that's
it.
insignificant to the amount of what
the millions
her
and billions that they've made from her.
exactly. Big pharma, heck yeah.
You pay my 4-year tuition. That is an nth, a peon of what you owe me and my family.
Yes, exactly.
But here's the kicker though, bros. They named the cells Healer. And they trying to cover up that they belong to a Black woman named Henrietta Lacks. They were telling people that they were cells of a woman named Helen Lane.
Yes.
Who is a woman of, Caucasian descent. So yeah, they have always tried to cover up.
Now I'll tell you this. When it comes to research and testing out drugs, I will tell you that majority of when they start testing these drugs, they must make sure in the test, when they start testing on humans, they make sure that the test group has Black women in it. Because if it's successful in Black women, then it will be successful in everyone else. And that's what we have to always remember. And that's why I say, when you go to the doctor, ask 1,000,001 questions. Because
give more than one opinion.
First thing somebody says out your mouth is, let me give you a prescription. You need to ask, what is that going to do? What are the side effects? And is there a natural remedy to it? Can I drink some beet juice for high blood pressure? Yes, yes, you can. Can I take, can I do this? What can I do that's natural than me taking what is pharmaceuticals that y'all whipped up in a lab? Because we are
because
not.
the whole purpose of pharmaceutical, in addition to that, give more than one opinion. The whole purpose of pharmaceutical is to continue to keep you coming to spend that money, not to
Exactly.
be able to use natural remedies and things that do assist the body through your eating, through your supplementation, all of those things. This is an incredible body that we have, and a lot of times those medications retard that process of healing, so you do continue to come back. Now, there are many diseases that you have no choice, but many things such as the high blood pressure, such as your cholesterol, such as those types of things, there are many natural things that can be used to assist with those things without going to that medication. There are many clients I've had that I've gotten off of high blood pressure medicine just by changing and what they're putting into their body, what they're consuming, and adding it, as you said, beet juice.
And the FDA thing is also not just on medicine, but on your food.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna say this, and I know I need to do it. So if I'm gonna say it, I need to do it too, right? We need to start gardening. We need to start gardening. We need to start planting stuff. Even if you plant it in your house, we need to start that, because there's an opportunity and there's things that they're going to try to rush in growth that are going to mess us up. We already are seeing some of those kinds of stuff now.
I'll give you an example. I think there are 21 or 23 chemicals. I have to go back and research that again, that are not even allowed overseas in other countries. And
I didn't know our Fantas look different. Did y'all know that? Orange Fanta here looks different than the Orange Fanta in China.
Well, I've had that opportunity to travel, or to several different countries and areas. And just when you look at the vegetables, the colors are deeper, the taste. I'm not a tomato person, just to give an example. And when I was in Kosovo, as some say, in Croatia, they taste like cherries instead of tomatoes. They have such a different taste to them. Cauliflower is huge, just huge and natural. And the way chickens are here, as you know, I'm a vegan, but the way chickens are here and huge, and the legs, and sometimes you'll see the legs are broken in the packages. That's because they're not to be that size. When you see the size a chicken is actually supposed to be, it's like, man, it's small, but that's the way it's supposed to look. Your meat is not supposed to be a reddish color. You go to grocery stores in other countries, it's a grayish color. And that's because it hasn't had all these additives added. Americans will go there and probably won't want to buy it, but that's the way it's supposed to look. The shelf time is going to be less because it doesn't have those types of chemicals in it. The eggs are different. The yellow in the part of the egg is an orange color. The white part is a yellow color, and they're huge. They're not runny. They're thicker. You know what I mean? The shells are thicker. It's just different because those chemicals are not there in Afghanistan, in Iraq. I had those opportunities to see those things, and it was just amazing to see what their food is like.
And I'll let you know, just to give y'all a concept, 33 million people are on Medicaid. 33 million people are on Medicaid and are currently, if we do not stop this madness, they will be affected. They will be forced to go to private alternatives for their health care that they cannot afford. So like I know, what they gonna do? They gonna have none. They're not gonna do nothing. But then what ends up happening is they got to go to the hospital. They're gonna go to the emergency rooms. Then guess what that does to those people who have insurance in private sectors? Your prices are gonna go up. And then the quality, we also got to think about the quality of the service that they're going to get is not going to be good. So we have to realize.
I'm sorry, bro.
No,
but ahead. even if they do go to these emergency rooms and these different hospitals, the hospitals are going to have the right to refuse the service.
Yeah. So let's say that again. Say that again for the people in the back.
the hospitals are going to have the right to refuse service. Now they pretty much have to do it, you know what I'm saying, because of all these different laws and stuff like that. But with how they're repealing everything and changing everything and want everything to be harder for the impoverished, they could get denied. Like, oh, we don't have to take you here, or no, we can't see you, and kick you out to go somewhere else. It's
Because think about that. That means that your government funding that goes to these hospitals so that they can take people who don't have insurance will be cut off. You won't get that. So yeah, you're gonna have those people saying, no, you can't come here. Go ahead, Big C.
Yeah, back to what you're saying about a lot of people getting cut off Medicaid. Like, I work in defects, so majority of my clients have Medicaid, and they're not over 18. They're younger than 18. So, and a lot of them, their parents are not just sitting at home on welfare. A lot of them have parents that have them on their Medicaid. I mean, on their insurance at their job, but they have Medicaid as well as a supplement. But I just think about like what Elite was saying about they won't have that ceiling anymore. So they'll be able to charge whatever. And just to think about all these babies without adequate health care. Now their parents are, with the inflation that we have now, are also having to come out of pocket and pay for medical care. So
yeah,
it is going to be a madhouse of not, it's just not going to be good. Here's another thought that you have for those of you who are in Texas. Texas is saying that if you go out of state and do an abortion, you risk going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
How is me taking care of my body have me put in jail? And we all have heard the story of the young girl who I think she was maybe 14, 16, somewhere in there, that they would not allow her to have an abortion. And she was, I believe she was molested, and they wanted, and her mother was trying to have her have an abortion. And
she was like 11.
11? Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, she was like 11, and they wouldn't allow her to have an abortion, and her mom took her out of state to get an abortion. But Project 2025 will make it to where they will go to your medical records and see if you went out of state to get an abortion.
Yep.
Like they're trying to violate HIPAA.
Yes.
Just to see
not
if you
violate it. They're trying to eradicate it. They're trying to take it off the board. It ain't even about violating.
Can we say Handmaid's Tale? Can we
and
say
I got one even worse for you. Here's the worst thing.
That's what I tell the young people. I'm like, if you don't want to read Project 2025, watch Handmaid's Tale. That's it. That's the life we about to have.
Look, I done told y'all I will be no one's nanny. I'm not doing it. I'm not, because those of us who can't have children, we got to be the nannies. I'm not the one. I'm not. So here's another thought. We fight for our trans brothers and sisters. We even fight for better pills and cocktails for those that have HIV. That will be cut out, ladies and gentlemen. That will be cut out. Those trans women who have cocktails for their transition will be cut out. Those men and women who have HIV or AIDS that need that cocktail so they can live a prosperous life will be cut out. If you don't believe fat meat is greasy, you need to believe it now, because that's part of this. They are going to take that away. I have a cousin, Max's brother is my cousin. I refuse to risk his life like that. I refuse for him to have gone the journey that he has gone and the prosperity that he has had for it to end because y'all don't understand. Because y'all think shit is funny. Because y'all think that this man out here is not really going to get in, but I ain't voting. You ain't voted for him. I need y'all to really understand this. because I promise you, everybody who is listening to us knows somebody that is in the transgender community. That doesn't mean they're just your friend, don't mean it's your family member, but you know somebody. You've seen them, and you have to have some kind of compassion for another human being. If that is all you can hold on to, is that you have to have another compassion for another human being, then you are being, and I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, ooh, you are being the best Christian that God has written you to be, is to have compassion for your fellow man. Take heed to the fact that this, that we're talking about right here, it seems like, oh, no, that ain't really going to happen. Let's not test the waters and find out. That is one of the things when it comes to the medical piece of this, that right there should get you in the mode of being able to go, I can't have this happen to people. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we really have to understand and really take heed that we've got people who there are women that I'm sure we know want to have children sometime in their life, but they want to have children on their own terms. We might all want to have children. We need to be able to have children on our own terms. We should have the right to be able to go and get vitro fertilization and not be told we can't. You know, and if we want to do it naturally, that's our business too. But we shouldn't have to marry that man because we choose to want to do that. I mean, I'm not, hey, however you want to get down, that should get down. You know, I think that is, I think that is, I think that we also have to think about that. We have to really understand that you might be, I know there are a lot of people, and I hear this all the time, it don't apply to, that don't mean nothing to me. That could be the case, but your neighbor, what about your neighbor? I got a neighbor on both sides of my house. I got a neighbor in the back and behind my backyard. That's 3 people, that's 3 families. It might not apply to me, but it might apply to them.
You have heterosexual couples that are not able to have children and rely on vitro. In vitro was definitely not put into fruition for us.
No, but it's a blessing that we're able to. It's a blessing that anyone who wants a child and cannot have a child has the opportunity and choice and option.
Exactly.
Even if you wanted to adopt.
Exactly.
We've seen the men couples that have adopted children, and they're amazing parents.
Exactly.
Why stop somebody from being a parent? Some of these folk don't need to be a parent.
I said this on the Masculines for Harris call. When it comes, how can I put it? I want to be politically correct.
We don't have to be. See, on here, we ain't got to be politically correct.
We shooting the shit.
Oh my God.
We ain't got to be. And if you don't like us, you ain't got to listen to us. That's how we feel about it. That's not, hey, you ain't got to like how we feel.
That's what most of the podcasts say. You can always turn to another podcast. You don't like.
There you go. But you know,
Jesus.
Jesus.
I'm over y'all. I'm over y'all.
Hey, no, they say a whole lot worse on a whole lot of other podcasts.
No, you can say it.
I'll wait. I'm gonna sit on it. I'll sit on it.
Okay, but when you're ready to say it, say it. So we're gonna jump.
Before you go there, it just resounds in my head, and I guess it always has. Is that, and I know there are a lot of women that support this, but it's like a man telling you what you can do as a woman with your body. Just like we go back to 1929, before women could vote. You know, before women had
leave
any
it to
right.
Beaver. It's the leave it to Beaver.
You know, and I often wonder if those tables were turned and they were the ones that had the children, how would this go? Just a thing that has always bounced around in my head. Like, who gives you the right to tell a woman what she could do with her body? What she can and cannot do. That is just, even when I was a teenager, that has always just resounded in my head. I don't.
I think it's a level.
At the end of the day, but at the end of the day, who is it affecting?
If I'm a little man, think about it. Even though I might be whatever height I am, I'm a little man inside. I have no control. So to control my wife and to be able to control other women, that makes me big shit. And I think that that's a lot of this. This is a lot of ego. This is a lot of egos in place. First and foremost, a lot of white men, and I'm going to say it, a lot of white men can't handle that black women are standing up and have a very strong and loud voice, even though we're single parents.
And look at where
Even
we're
though we're
looking at
raising
with
boys and
our
girls,
election
women
right
and
now.
men.
We're talking about a black woman running for office.
And that man, and I'm going to say this, Trump is scared to death to go anywhere near a debate with her.
Y'all think about this. Think about how much history we've lived through.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Think about how much
first black
history
president. Absolutely.
we have lived through. Like, we've lived through a pandemic. We've seen a Great Depression in our stock market. When our stock market crashed, like, it was the greatest ever recorded, right? We went through a terrorist attack on our own land.
Yep.
We saw the first black male president, and now we get to witness the first not only female, not only Indian, but also black. Like, think about how much we have seen in our lifetime.
Bro, let's not forget about Shirley Chisholm.
Absolutely. You remember those assignments, huh? You remember
Yeah,
those
but bro,
assignments.
just see how much progress we've made from Shirley Chisholm to now.
Big
Yeah.
C.
Like, I don't even think she made it this far.
That warms my heart.
Right. They weren't gonna make her a Democratic. Yeah, she was independent, wasn't she?
No,
because they wouldn't even allow her to be the Democratic.
I think
She was going to be Democrat, and you know, money, black men,
and her male peers, and
absolutely.
let's be real, her male peers at the time wasn't going for it as much as they were black power.
But you also got to remember it, and I think somebody said this at some point during this week at the Democratic convention. It's about timing,
right?
Shirley Chisholm broke. You know what? Shirley Chisholm broke the ceiling, but couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
Harris is walking through it now, so that she make it. Please understand, you can't stop. No, this will be a historical moment, and really, truly, should bring essence to the understanding of what this country really is about.
But let me. But you know, even though she did not run for that office, Michelle Obama laid a road. She made a road where people were even considering the thought of a black female running for president.
Yeah.
That's how much of an impact as a first lady.
And I'm gonna say, and she is not a man. She's born woman. Stop saying that this woman is a trans woman. She is not.
Well, because you had a woman that took care of her body, took care of her person, you know, and I don't think it would have mattered whether it was Michelle Obama or any other black woman. Look at what they say about the way we look anyway, the way black women are built anyway, the sexuality and things that they place upon black women anyway. You know what I mean? Look at what they did to Serena. You know, she took over the tennis world. So what do? We post gorillas with a tennis racket.
It's like you just can't handle the giving the person that praise.
But when you have a first lady that elegantly graces the people, you know, her presence in the White House itself, you know, like they had nothing else that they could say about her.
Right.
They couldn't say that she was. They couldn't say the stereotypical things that they normally say about it, so they had to throw something else in there.
Exactly.
You know,
we can't call her dumb. We can't call her a whore. We can't call her, you know. So we have to call her something else. But we just gonna call her a man. So that's all that is.
Right. Absolutely, because of the presence that she had just when she stepped in the arena. It's just a presence. You know what I mean? You know how they always say, "Oh, they're so well spoken." That
Ugh,
just
I hate that
irks
shit.
me to the bitter
Yes.
end.
Go ahead, Max.
So just to clarify, was not talk, did not omit her because I wasn't bringing her up in conversation because I wasn't alive when she was running for president. I was talking about what we have witnessed, what I have witnessed, these historical moments and historical things since I've been alive because I was born in 80 and I don't
Okay,
remember
I
shit
was
until I was at 1985.
okay. So
So
I was
Hold
I
on.
was
Hold
born.
on,
I
you were
believe
born in
I was
80,
born
man.
in her time period.
and
Was
she
we not?
a
Elite, we was
waymaker,
born
like
in her
she
time
she
period.
paid the way, like she paid the way because we also got to remember Hillary Clinton was running for president too. Like she
Yep.
started this shit. So like not to get, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about for me being alive. I wasn't alive when she was run. I wasn't alive then.
I think we was. I think me and Elite was. We was doing. Was we toddlers then? I think we might have been toddlers during that time
Back
period.
then, you were born in 1980.
Max, because I look. I'm a 68 baby, so I think she was out there. I don't know.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, you was a toddler.
I think I was a toddler during that time period, but that's fine. You ain't got to.
Like I was still in heaven.
Senior citizen. You ain't got to talk about
Still
it.
like swimming in the nutsack.
So let's go to the next topic, which is, and this says a lot in itself. The topic that the chapter that they have laid out is called Enable Discrimination Across Society. That tells you so much about what we're about to talk about. In that alone, basically, they want to dictate where you live, how you study, where you work, or what kind of work you can do. Basically, they're rolling it back. They want to, and I hate to say this because I'm not saying that Leave It to Beaver time period wasn't good for somebody. It wasn't good for us. And I say that as Black, as a female, and as a masculine presenting. That rolling back shit does not work for us. And I don't think people understand that either. So back in the day, and those who do not know their history about Stonewall, please look it up, because this is what they're going to try to make you go back to. Used to be a law, you had to have 3 items of what your gender was on your body at all times. So those people wanted to be cross-dressers or want to be that were transgender, that kind of thing, you couldn't do it. You had to have at least 3 items of what your gender is. Now we can do whatever we want. We can look any kind of way that we want. Studs look all kinds of different ways, And but I need y'all to understand. Y'all want to fuck around and find out with non-voting or not voting or not paying attention. They're gonna start making you. We're gonna all be in dresses and high heels.
Let me ask this. So it seems that, and I hate to say this generation, because each generation always blames the next generation and says there's something going on with that generation, something going on with this generation. My generation, man, we were crazy because of our music, or this was going on to our generation. But voting is something that, it seems like we did more when we had no rights in movement than we do with what we have today. We have the right to vote, but for some reason, like what we're talking about today, is not what's pressed upon the brains of our society today. It's all about who likes me on a social media, or who doesn't like me, or who agrees with me, or why did they say that about me? I don't understand why, rhetorically speaking, they don't understand you are the next generation to run this country.
So I'm going to agree and disagree. So there is a shift in this voting thing right now. It's a shift and everybody can feel it. Everybody can see it, right? You see the young people out front. You see, if you did not watch the DNC,
I did
last night, and y'all did not see that roll call, I need for y'all to research that roll call. The brother from Tennessee,
yeah,
Georgia, who was it? The young people, Louisiana, they was hyped up. Like, look at the young people in that crowd. Like, they are really getting hyped up. And the reason being is because the generation of Trump, Obama, Bush, all of us, you know, the ones that really messed it up and tried to fix it and then messed it up again. Like, the young generation is the generation of love and being queer and doing whatever you want to do. They are the hippies. It's just repeating themselves. The generation now, what is it? Generation
Gen Z? No, millennials. No, Alexander's a millennial.
Not Gen Z.
This is not Gen Z?
Is it Gen Z?
Gen X?
Gen X? No, I'm Gen X.
No, Gen X is before that. It's
no,
Gen
then
Z.
it would have to be, hold on. See, this is how you can tell we old. We don't even
I just know I
talking about shit. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I never was really into knowing the titles of any of it, in young or old. I just always said next generation.
Okay, it would be okay. So Gen Z is between 1997 and 2012. That's what it says. So now between the ages of 12 and 27. So yes, so it will be Gen Z. So they are the hippies, right? They are the hippies right now. They're about love. They're about, you know, less hate, and they're the ones who created the Karens and all of that stuff. Like, you have to remember that. So they're the ones hyped up, but you also have to remember, think about it just like a car. Your parents buy you a car. Are you truly going to maintain it as if you did not buy it yourself? You will take care of things when you buy and fight for things yourself, right? So when the civil rights movement was going on and Jim Crow, and we was fighting for this and fighting for that, and we was on these buses and people were getting murdered, hung from trees just by looking at a white woman. All of these things, they fought. So when it did happen, when we were able to vote and people still got lynched and we still went out and voted, and people still got killed and we still went out and voted, and then we were able to vote safely, those people appreciated it more because I fought for it. And now that I have it, just like the car my mama bought me, I'm not going to take care of it. What did I invest in it? What did I invest in it?
Skin on the table. Yep.
I have no dog in the fight. What did I invest in it, right? But if I spent my hard-earned money, if I'm spending $50K on what I want, I'm going to make sure them tires rotated. I'm going to make sure that oil changed. I'm going to make sure my radiator good. I'm going to make sure my fluids are flush, all of that. I'm going to make sure it's gas in it, all of that. I'm going to take care of it. It's the same concept. If I fight for it, I'm going to appreciate it more because that's something I wanted. I earned it. I got it. But when I keep passing it down and you don't have to fight for it anymore, now it's just, hey, if you want to do it, you can. And if you don't, you don't. Whether it's important to you or not, then it becomes less important. How many of y'all in y'all Black household talked about how important it was to vote? Let's be real.
We did.
Well, you know I had to.
We did. That wasn't even a question. That was kind of like.
Seriously, the average Black family do not sit down and have conversations about voting. They have no conversations about the candidates that are on the ballots. They have no conversations about the amendments and things that are on the ballot. Right now, Florida has 2 things on the ballot that people need to be interested in. One deals with abortion and the other one deal with weed.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all
on the ballot. Both of them on the ballot this year.
This is also affecting the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Fair Housing Act of 1968. They will remove both of those. First of all, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 has not been signed since Obama was in. Trump did not sign it. It's supposed to be signed, I think, every president.
25 years.
Every what?
It's supposed to be every 25 years.
and it has not been signed. Apparently, it is still. And what people don't realize is that we just assume, right? What Max just said, that our parents bought the car, they drove it for a little while, and they gave it to us, right? And we just assume that we can keep driving this car. But guess what? We don't realize that, hey, it needs insurance. Basically, is what the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is, our insurance on our car that allows us to continue to have it, though, for us to continue to have the right. This man made a statement, and I think it was sometime last week, and I want y'all to hear me clearly when I say it, because I'm going to say it just like he did. Christians, just vote this one last time.
And you won't have to ever
You
vote
won't have
again.
to vote no more.
You will never have to vote again. Correct.
If y'all don't understand what that statement means, and you know what? I hear, and I've been on the road of, hey, if he get in, I'm leaving. But you know what? I'm not gonna allow him to get in, so I got to leave. That's my new statement. Why I got to leave? His ass need to leave. Yep. So we got to understand that right now, the right to vote
that's an amendment that's supposed to be voted on as well.
At stake right now. Your right to even be able to vote is at stake right now. And the Fair Housing Act of 1968 allows us to live anywhere we want to live. Yep. If you got $500,000, you can live down the street from me. But if this man gets in office and this Project 2025, I can't live in this neighborhood that is predominantly Black.
Affirmative action is
because right now my neighborhood's being gentrified. So what'll happen is my neighbor will continue to be gentrified, and I will be made to leave. And my neighbor on this side who's Black, they've been living here forever. They raised their children, their grandchildren are here. They won't be able to live here because it will be considered a white neighborhood, and we will be asked to. We could not even be asked. We'll be told, "Your house ain't your house no more, Amber."
Correct.
And I don't think you understand. People go, "Oh, that can't ever happen." Yes, it can. And I need y'all to go and believe when I say.
Well, if I'm not mistaken,
like I wanted to ask people how it can't, because if everything is against you, how it can't happen.
I'm telling you,
if these officers are supposed,
I want y'all to listen to me. This is how the Holocaust came about.
If I'm not mistaken, and unless it's been changed in the last 5 or 8 years, it still states in California realtors contracts about Blacks not being able to purchase in certain areas. That was still in some of the contracts when people went to purchase homes. I don't know if that's been changed, but I know that was within the last 5 to 8 years that it was still in some contracts.
And it could be, because in Georgia, there's a 1929 law that says 2 women can't live in a 1-bedroom apartment.
And that's what happens when we don't pay attention to our local government as well.
Even though people being real nice, they ain't saying nothing, but we still got it on the books.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got another one for you. Let's we talked about where you can live and where you can't live. So you can afford a $500,000 house in a very nice neighborhood with a very nice school, got pool, got a country club, all that kind of stuff. But now this gets put in place. These people get in. You can't live there no more. And you are so qualified for your job, but I ain't got to give it to you. Because guess what? You don't look like me. I'm going to give it to this goober who I know can't do the job like you can do, but I'm going to give it to them because they look like me. Please understand, you might have your job today. That don't mean that you get to keep your job if these people get in office. And I don't think we realize that. These people are going not just fuck up with somebody else's lifestyle. They're going to fuck with your lifestyle, and they're going to fuck with your money. And if you ain't got nothing else to stand on that dollar bill that you get in them checks. And I say that even for those who get a check from the government. If you getting the welfare check, stand on that, because you won't get it.
Right. That's the one right there.
They not playing no games, and please understand, they gonna hit their own people. If they're willing to fuck their own people in the ass with no grease, what you think they gonna do to us? I need people to hear what we're saying. When this thing goes into fact, they're discriminating against your housing, your job, everything. That also means that there could be a sign at your favorite restaurant that you go to right now. What happens if that person puts a sign up saying, I'm not serving black people today?
They can. No more
blackout. Let's take the blackout of it. Even they can even say, due to my beliefs, I don't want to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
In the medical field. Like, y'all need to understand that. Like, they're trying to make it okay to where it's okay for healthcare professionals to say, I don't want to treat you.
And Max is right. It's not just black. I need y'all to understand, brown people, hear me. We talking to you too. We not just talking about black folks. We're talking about brown people. And I want my Asian brothers and sisters to hear me as well, because we're talking to you too. Because you might think you standing over there with them, that's just for them votes. But once they get in, you coming over here with us.
2025 kickoff.
I mean,
if you're not above this line,
they call y'all
and even if you're above this line.
What'd you say, Matt?
They call your families illegals. Like, I mean,
they're going to change history. We will be known, slavery for 400 years that we know it will be called indigenous servants. We will have been, I'm only 6 generations of free black folk. So the 7th generation was a slave. That's how I tell my history. That's how I tell my history. They gonna say that my great 6th, 7th great grandmama was an indigenous slave.
They're already saying that. They're already saying there's no such thing as slavery. The slavery never existed.
My people were already here before any of that. My people were already here on this land before Christopher Columbus and all of that. Y'all got to remember, Africans, African, black people, black Spanish people, right? Because we had all of Mexico and majority of Central America that was part of North America at the time, and over half of Canada too, right? So black people, Native Americans, Asians was already on this land before Europeans stepped foot on any of this shit. On any of this shit.
As well.
Yes.
Any of this shit. So let's be clear. A lot of my family was already here.
Yep.
We was already here. So I'm not, when you tell me to go back, my ass is staying right.
I'm already at home.
Here.
Yeah.
I need because they came from over there.
To come over here.
They came from over there and came over here.
The whole part for me, like,
I've never understood.
Yourselves, when y'all say the stuff that y'all say, it drives me insane. Like, my girl laugh at me every time, like a Trump clip or something, or because I get so enraged and irritated, like, I can't stand this.
I've never understood.
Like, everything he says is just pure utter nonsense, and people are going, like, for the life of me, it's just it is
the most bizarre thing. You know what? I keep going. I know this is a nightmare. And I'm gonna wake up at some point, and y'all gonna wake up with me, and we're gonna be at this nightmare. But this is, to think that somebody would believe the bullshit that comes out this man's mouth. It is the most.
Did you hear the last thing he said about veterans and the Medal of Honor?
Yes, he told that lady. Oh, he said that.
I didn't hear that one. Hold on.
Okay, it was the Medal of Honor. Okay, so a lady got, what did she get?
Hold on. Let the lead explain it. She military. Let her explain it.
His comment was basically saying that us as veterans, first of all, we're weak. and pitiful, and that the Medal of Honor was given to us that are either already broken up or amputees or dead.
Yep.
And it is better to have the highest honor, which is for civilians, which is I've lost it at the moment, because at least they're still alive.
Is it the Medal of Freedom or something like that?
Medal of Freedom.
Yeah.
He said
It
she's still alive. She's still here. So that's better than a Medal of Honor to dead soldiers, or those that are
got
are
bullets through them.
amputees.
Got bullets through them.
But what you fail to realize, some people got them
They
bullets,
have
so
been
your
shot
ass
up.
can stand here. That's what people do not understand. That even if that is true, even if that was true, and we gave honor to those that are dead, thank you.
Dead or shot up. Yeah, or shot up.
But guys, guess what? No, they've served their country so that I don't have to take a bullet. Do people not understand that? Like, these people risk their lives in the military, and I don't care, even when we don't have war, they are still risking their lives for us to protect us.
I need for people to go on vote.org, check your voter registration, make sure that you are still registered to vote. There are people that may be trying to go in and change your voter registration, especially if they have your information, such as your last name, your date of birth, possibly the last four of your social. You know, if you have conservative parents and you're liberal or whatever, or, you know, in the middle, and they may think that you may vote a certain type of way, and vice versa. I'm not saying, you know, and vice versa. You may have a liberal parent and you may be conservative, and they may go in because they know your information. They may go in and change your voter registration to where you can't vote because something's changed, like your last name or whatever, or they've completely canceled it. So you have to go in, and there are other bots and things that will get in and change your voter registration too. So just make sure that you go in and check your voter registration, make sure you're up to date, make sure that your ID and your card, what's on your voter registration, matches.
And that is important for our transgender community. That is super important for our transgender community. You have got to make sure that your markers are correct and your name change has been taken care of. And if you haven't done your name change, then you either go ahead and do that now, get that out the way, and then register to vote under your new name, or you need to wait till after, however you want to do it. But you do need to check that, because if you've changed your name and you're living in your truth, but it has not been changed on your voter registration, they are not going to let you vote. And I would not want anyone to.
They're trying to find any reason for people not to vote. And remember, although your polls close at 7, as long as you are in line,
can vote.
They cannot deny you. They cannot turn you away. Now, walk up at 6:59, you may be good. You may even be good walking up at 7 o'clock, but they have every right at 7:01 to deny you voting. I just need for people to understand that. But as long as you are in that line before 7 o'clock or before your poll closes, you're good.
But you know,
they cannot deny you to vote, because that also has happened before too. They tried to do that as well. They tried to stop people from voting because they said, oh, the polls are closed. And they was like, no, but we've been in line. They was like, well, we're closed. And like, they had to call people and say, no, this is not how this works. If they were in line, they vote. So just make sure you know your voting rights. Because I think even on vote.org, it tells you about voting rights and like all this different type of stuff. But just make sure that your stuff is on the up and up so you can vote.
So here's one of the things I want y'all to think about when it comes to the discrimination piece. And right now, we have protection. It is the White House Gender Policy Council. Excuse me. This council, which is key to promoting contraceptive access, gender-based violence prevention, and women's health equality. It will be eliminated by Project 2025.
Also, gender reaffirming care.
And I'm gonna also, yes, and I'm gonna give you a scenario of what some of this, of what I believe some of the gender-based violence prevention can also cover, is if your husband says it's time for you to get down with the get down, you can't say no if he take it. Ain't shit you can do. So I need people to understand that this goes really deep. And when it comes down to gender-based violence prevention, that covers us, masculine presenting. And let me tell you why I say it like that. Because there are a lot, we all heard about the drag queens reading to the children. That was a big blow up. Well, in those states that started putting laws together to prevent drag queens from reading to children, which I do not understand, they took it and they also added male impersonators, female impersonators. That put a target. If you don't believe that fat meat is greasy, please listen to me carefully. That put a target on the backs of masculine presenting. That means that if Martha down the street sees you in your finery suit with your nice wingtips on and your nice fresh haircut lined up and everything, and she says, "Oh, you're being a male impersonator," you can go to jail with a felony. Do you know what a felony does to you? It stops you from voting. That's just one of many. That's one of many things.
He can't vote.
It didn't stop Trump.
Well, but you know,
he's still running for office. That's the part. I mean, running for presidential office.
There you go.
He cast his vote in Florida, I believe, last week.
Oh, he did.
That shit don't count.
Look, none of it should count. But understand what I'm saying to you. And here's the thing: those rules, his way of doing stuff is his way of doing stuff. We can't go, on that. What we have to look at is on this women's health equality. That's prenatal care. Black women right now are dying giving birth to children. I will tell you, I met some amazing women, and I want to make sure I say they organization correctly, because they have a doula program. And that is where they have someone that advocates for the pregnant woman and helps them breathe and helps them get through their pregnancy and asks 1,000,001 questions and tells you what you need to be asking when you go to your doctor, or they'll go with you. And I got to be at their event. They did the first annual non-collegiate Greek weekend. And I want to make sure that I say their name correctly, because I do not want to mess anyone's organizational name up. But I would say we all need, if you're going to have, especially for my masculines that are going to have children, I believe you want to make sure that you possibly have a doula in place. They have a doula program. It's free. They'll do it for you. It is Delta Psi Rho Sorority. They are a group of ladies, nice ladies. And they taught me a lot about, the things that are happening where Black women are losing their children because they don't get prenatal care, because they're getting, when you have the doctor saying, "Oh, no big deal, it's nothing," and you're like, "But this don't feel normal," all these kind of things. And then, I have not given birth to a child, so I don't know what you go through. But from my understanding, it is a very painful situation. Of course, I can imagine that part of it, but it's also very scary for you to be giving birth to a child. And a lot of times, of course, your husband doesn't understand, or maybe you don't have a husband or a boyfriend that's right there, or you don't have family. So these ladies do a doula, and they're certified. They come with you. They'll go with you to doctor's appointments. They'll go through you if you want to do your labor, all that kind of stuff. And I also think that that's part of the health that Black women need to be looking at, is that if for some reason this gender policy council is eliminated, I believe that some of those things, when we come to women's health equality, we're going to be put on whatever. We're going to be put on the whatever list. We're not going to be prioritized. We're not going to be at the priority list of what matters to what matters to women, period. Breast cancer, cervical cancer. If it is not a male cancer, they're not going to care what happens to us. If it's not a male situation, they're not going to care. if women get it. We're not going to have any kind of advocacies or activists to help us to make sure that we get the kind of proper health care that we need. So we do have to think about those things. And then I know they're trying to ban all contraceptives, which it goes back to our original statement about, you know, if you playing Russian roulette with your sex, and then we say you there's no condoms, so you can't buy none. Some people gonna be up there with Nick Cannon with a lot of children. And then the other thing is that they say that life begins at the time that the egg and the sperm meet. Child support starts at that time too, sir. Let's not get this shit twisted. They're gonna dig in your pocket day one. So let's make sure you understand what I'm saying to you. That yes, you might think that shit is cute. Oh, I ain't got to worry about child support till I make sure it's mine. Partner, they gonna hit you when the day that lady said she found out she was pregnant. They gonna go back and go, oh, that was 4 weeks before that. Boom, boom, life was right then. And that's the things that we have to look at as well. With getting rid of contraceptives, I think that you also put lives at risk when you do things of that nature. I think that's from what I'm looking at, we have 368,000 children in foster care. I'm gonna say that again. 368,000 children are in foster care. I'm not sure I ain't trying to be funny. I ain't sure we need to have any more children that people cannot take care of. And this is with the Department of Health and Human Services, which will also be taken away. So what happens to these 368,000 children if there is no Department of Children and Family Services? Where do these kids go? They're gonna eliminate the fact that if you're a same-sex couple, you can't even have a child, you can't adopt. Oh, on top of that, if you married, you ain't married no more. They ain't grandfather none of us into that. So if you married today, you might not be married tomorrow. We have to think about those. And I think that goes back to what Max was saying, was that we have these amazing rights that we don't realize that are amazing rights, but they're about to become obsolete. They're about to become eliminated. The right, we think about how long it took for us to be able to get married. Don't take that for granted. I'm not married, but shit, I'm trying to be. You know, let me have that moment. You know what I'm saying? And then my people that are married, they like being married. Shit. Let them stay married. I think that we have to, and my thing, and I'm gonna say this: why you can't? Why I'm so mad that you want to get married? Why do I care? You ain't marrying me, so I should not care that you want to get married. But there's a whole group of people that want to sit there and protest you not getting married because they miserable and they shitty ass married. They ain't got nothing to do with us. I think we have to really think about that. You know, adopting children, taking care of foster kids. One, those of you who are foster parents, thank you. Thank you very much. Because that is something that that's not everybody's calling. Being a foster parent is a very great and amazing thing. And I give credit to those of you who are foster parents. Thank you. Now I need 368,000 more. Because we got all these little kids running around that don't have a mom and dad. And we need to be able to give them that opportunity to have a mom and dad. Somebody's a home, their own bed. They don't stop carrying their stuff in garbage bags from house to house or foster care home to foster care home, whichever the case may be. But we have to protect them. And the way to protect them is with the Department Health and Human Services. Now, I ain't saying that I know there's some horror stories. We all have heard the horror stories. But at the end of the day, these are children, guys. And to think that we will, first of all, I'm still trying to figure out where those kids that came from Mexico, what happened to them? Where are they? But that's, I guess, a whole nother story. Maybe they part of the 300. We have to be able to say, even though none of us on here have been foster kids, we have not we've not encountered that, but I can't even imagine. And so I feel
some of the foster adoptions, as you know, I was in that program of fostering, even offer if you foster or end up adopting a Black child under 2 years old or up to 2 years old, or even provided college for them. So there are a lot of things and perks that are being offered for foster children being adopted now that weren't available, before.
But that's because we have programs. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all. We have programs in place that will get taken away. I need people to understand that if you are not what these people consider to be an angelic type of belief, if you have any other belief, then I'm not, and this ain't Christianity. This is that angelica faith that the strange people have. They are going to say you cannot foster children. They won't let you foster children if you are LGBTQ plus.
Right.
They're not going to allow you to get. And then let's look at our youth that are LGBTQ plus that will not be able to walk in their truth. I and the people on this line that are on here talking to you today, we walk in our truth freely. There are youth that if we do not fight for them, they can't fight for themselves because they're under 18. They can't vote yet. So just think about that. And this is another momentum and another reason for you to vote. And we keep tying all of this in. If you ain't noticed, we tying it all into the what? The bottom line is what? Get your ass up and get out there and vote. And take somebody else with you when you do it. Because at the end of the day, we got some youth. 368,000 children in foster home. Some of them are LGBT youths that cannot walk in their truth, and they
have a higher suicide risk because of it.
Say it again, because I don't think the people in the back heard you.
Have a higher suicide risk because of it,
and that is unfortunate. If you didn't like our justice system now, you sure the fuck ain't gonna like it with Project 2025. If you have and I'm gonna say this also, if you got a problem with Kamala Harris, with her being in her job that she was hired to do, putting people who have committed a crime, she did put them in jail or in prison. But you know what else she did? While they were in prison, she developed a program so when they got their asses out of prison, they could be productive people. And some of the people that stood in front of her, she recommended them to go to certain programs so they wouldn't go to prison. Stop saying this woman kept putting Black men in jail. Keep your Black man ass out of doing crimes. It's real simple. We ain't ever met her. You know why we ain't ever met her? You know why we ain't ever met her? Because we ain't commit no motherfucking crime.
Right.
Boom. Just like that.
It's that simple. You don't want to meet her. You didn't meet her because you didn't commit a crime. If you met her in court, it's because your ass did something you had no business. Or you was with somebody who was doing something they had no business. And you said, I'm not going to snitch. Well, guess what, snitchy? Your ass sitting in prison with a felon on your forehead.
Snitchy.
And stop saying, again, somebody being in this field for all of my career, stop saying someone else did this to you. You made that choice, and that choice put you in those positions.
Now, I don't knock. I say I ain't knocking how you get your money, what you got to do. Some people swing on poles for little change. Some people got to go walk a street corner. Some people got to sell a little this, sell a little that. Do what you got to do. I ain't got to do with that. What I'm telling you is that if you get caught up in the crazy and you in front of a judge, you can't be mad at nobody.
That's correct.
I'm going to express myself real quick, tell a little story. I have had a little issue. It was traffically. It wasn't anything above traffic. And I don't mean trafficking. I mean a traffic ticket.
Let's talk about it, bro.
You know, I had a traffic ticket or
please correct that, bro.
Look, that suspended
I
my
was
license.
like,
I have
Please
not been
correct that,
trafficked.
bro.
Let me make that real clear. I have never trafficked anybody. What I did was got a couple of traffic tickets. And I did not, I thought I was above the law. I thought I was above the law and said, I ain't paying that ticket. I'm throwing that ticket, fuck that ticket. Well, that ticket fucked me and suspended my license. And then I kept on driving. Willy-nilly, wheeling down the street. Woo, woo. Then they pulled my black ass over and they said, well, guess what, partner? Let's come over here and spend a little time in DeKalb. I said, oh, still did not learn. I promise you, I still did not learn. Still did not learn. Kept doing stupid shit. And what happens when you do stupid shit? You get stupid ass prizes. Did it again. Atlanta, city of Atlanta. Come on down here and holler at us for a little while. I promise y'all, I have put some wonderful gardening. I've done wonderful landscaping for DeKalb County, the city of Atlanta, with my dumb ass. And I can't even fault nobody.
And Cordell, and Cordell, Georgia.
And Cordell. I can't stand Cordell. Yes, in Cordell.
Her ass got locked up in Cordell, bro.
I got locked up in Cordell, Georgia.
They're so good.
But I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you that.
And
that
I
was
had to go
one.
rescue her ass. I had
Yes,
to go rescue her ass.
First day out with a friend. She out there having fun with friends, had to come by and get me. It was sad. It was pathetic. And it wasn't, and I will tell y'all, I thought my license was clear. I just knew my license was clear. I said, here it is. I just handed it over like, bam, there you go. He came basically and get out the car for me 1 second. What I'm getting out the car for? Well, your license is suspended. I said, no, it's not. I know my license ain't suspended. Didn't know that my girlfriend's license was suspended too. She didn't tell me she didn't pay her tickets.
She said, well,
I wrote
you
a
ain't
song
paying
about it.
mine.
Here we go.
Yeah, she figured ain't nobody gonna pay in this damn, but because he said, "Oh, you
I
can
wrote a
drive."
song
She
about
said,
it.
no.
Want to hear it?
I'm
Here you
looking at
go.
her like, "What you mean, no?" I'm going, wait a minute. She said, "Well, I ain't paid such and such ticket." I'm gonna tell y'all once again, I couldn't be mad at nobody. I did that to myself. I have paid out thousands and thousands of dollars for being stupid. Unnecessarily being stupid. So I can't blame. That's the thing is that at some point you got to take your own. You got to take responsibility. If you met Miss Harris in a courtroom, you did something. You was in the wrong place. You was with the wrong people. You was doing something you had no business doing. Take that. Now, if she felt that you were somebody who was not continuing to be stupid, she developed programs to help you so that while you were sitting there, you were able to get your ass out and do something productive. Please understand, if I am correct, and Elite, you can help us with this as well. I believe they are taking those programs out. When it comes to Project 2025, they're eliminating any kind of rehabilitation programs for those people who go to prison. There's no longer, you can no longer get your
like that's wasting money.
Yes, you're not going to be able to get your GED. There are some people who are able to get a college degree, at least an associate, if I'm correct, in certain states. If they go to prison, they're able to get those. You will not be able to get those kind of things. And I say that, yes, people make mistakes. We all on here understand that. But when you make the mistake and you are in prison, sometimes you need somebody to believe in you to give you a chance. And if you do not, if your people do not stand up for you while you sit in jail because you can't vote, while you sit in jail, those programs to help you be able to be a productive human being and a productive citizen in this country will be taken away from you as well.
So prison is not about reform now?
It's not
going to be about reform anymore?
No.
That's supposed to be the whole purpose of prison, not corporal punishment. It's supposed to reform the person.
Exactly, but that's costing money. And remember, we have no longer, a lot of these prisons are not on state, they're not state run, so they're not state funded, they're private owned. So that means the more people come in, the more money I make. So what would you do? Do you really want people to be rehabilitated?
Right.
No, I want them to keep coming back if I'm gonna make more money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, and please understand a lot, and this I didn't know this, I found this out, that a lot of our Republican representatives, senators, including the person who's running for president, sit on boards from some of these prison companies and get paid money, thousands, millions of dollars. They make millions of dollars because they have invested their money into these prisons. And who's the more populated people in them prisons? Us.
Mm-hmm.
And then this man also plans to alleviate. If you were born, if your family came over here to give their family a better life, and you were born here, you will not be considered a citizen. You will have to leave with your mom and dad.
See, and that could affect me.
Really?
My parents were from another country, and me, my sister, brother, and one of my cousins is the first generation born here.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
That is what he's saying, is that if you like the first generation born here, you are a citizen because you were born here. But he's saying that will not be the case.
Y'all gotta get out and vote because I ain't losing my LB.
Say that LB.
Y'all gotta get out and vote, man.
But
I didn't know was a part of Project 25.
Yeah. So if you read,
that's part of,
you have to read it. You have to read it and read the verbiage of it. Like the verbiage is harsh, and I'm gonna read something from the Project 2025, not the breakdown, but from the actual Project 2025. It says, pursue other programs to educate the American people about the real and dangerous threats to our national security and economic security that are posed by actors across the globe, most notably China and Iran. So now you're enticing fear for Muslim people, like Indian, Indian Arabs, those type of people, and Asian people. And I'm not gonna say Chinese people, because let's be clear, Americans do not know the difference between Vietnamese, Filipino, Thailand,
Korean,
Chinese, Korean, Japanese. They don't know the difference between those different countries and in the different ethnicity. So all Asian people are under that too. So,
and they're looking to put them in camps, concentration camps. What that sound like to y'all? It sound like the Holocaust.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly.
If they can't deport you, they're gonna put you in a camp. Please understand, that means you got to leave. That means they're going to walk in your house and take your mom and dad and you and whoever in your house and take them away because you didn't have enough sense. You thought shit was funny. It's not. Yeah. I know every 4 years you hear it. This is the most important election we have. I need y'all to understand. This is the most important.
Might be the last if we don't do what we're supposed to do.
You let this man get in, and he ain't waiting till January. That's the other thing. People think this shit is like, oh, we got till January 26th when he gets. That man is talking about November the 5th, baby.
So
Wednesday. You vote on that Tuesday. If he wins, Wednesday morning, he got 250 executive orders to be issued on that day.
But let me tell you this. You remember how you called out something he said? Another person that was part of Project 2025 or what is it called? The something foundation? What is the actual foundation? Heritage Foundation. Thank you. Said that this could be a bloodbath or not. Like he literally said that if we the left side don't something, it could be it all depends on the left side whether it be a bloodbath. I can't remember, but all I remember is saying that basically he's saying we gonna do what we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Like these people ain't playing like, and everybody like, well, how he gonna take over the army? I'm like, do y'all not understand how this works? This been going now that I've been like looking into it and stuff and going down these rabbit holes and stuff. It started off with something 47. and then they modified it now to be Project 2025. So this other bill or whatever that they were working on is about 20 years old. 20 years old, because it grew from, it's not Project 47, but it's something, it was another name before Project 2025. And you know how
Hey, can you guys hear
long,
me?
yeah,
Okay.
you know
My
how
phone died.
long these
Phone
people
died.
been,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. These people been working on this. So you don't think that they've been strategically putting people in certain places over these years so they can roll the, they are very confident in what they wrote a whole manual and telling y'all what they gonna do. They have people in military positions, they got people in corporate positions, they got people everywhere. So when they are ready, when they get the person that they want, which is Trump, in office, they gonna, how my man threw out the hat, they gonna do whatever it is, and all them people gonna start flipping and doing exactly what they've been trained to do
Exactly.
or
I
been
said this.
prepared, you know. And I'm like,
I
people
said
talk about, oh, it ain't gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen. I'm like, these people been working on this. They've been trying to do this for years. This ain't just happened 3 weeks ago. They wrote a 900-page manual.
Oh,
no.
heck no. This
I
has
They
said
been
got,
no.
making.
they,
I said
they
this.
even have something about the military. Hello?
Yes.
Like,
I said this when we were on our masculine for Harris call. It was about the fact that when back in the day, the KKK would burn a cross in your yard or burn the church down or bomb the church. KKK don't do that no more. They took their kids and they said, you will be the police. You will be a senator. You will be a House of Representatives.
Of course.
You will run for this. They put their children in those places. And like I said when we was on that call, it's like we didn't do that. We started saying, hey, we can be Jay-Z, or you can be Beyonce, and you can be this,
Yeah.
and you can be that. We stopped looking at the roles that we need to be playing in. And we don't have our kids in the right places. So now we're trying to play catch up, and we've got some amazing people that are we are so diverse in the Democratic Party that we have some people that can really put some stuff in place to help us. But we got to understand what this is all about, because you're right. This didn't just come about a couple of weeks ago.
right.
This has literally been something that we have been that they have been planning and working on for several years. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. We have done some amazing work tonight. We are coming on to 2 hours, and I think that's a good place for us to stop right here. To our audience who's listening, please note we're gonna come back and tackle another section of this. So my brothers, I want y'all to know we're gonna tackle a lot more. We're gonna talk about that climate changing, because we know it does exist. We're gonna talk about some other things that are in place. And always, as you all know, this all ties back to what? Voting. You have got to make sure that you look at voting. And look at, as Max has said, go to voting.org. Make sure you look at where your status is. If you are not registered, please go get registered. You can do that if you didn't know. You can do it when you renew your license.
Right.
You can get it redone. Or you can go down. I think you can do it at the library. Some people can do it depending on your city. You can do it in the library. If you're in a little bit town, you can do it at your library. You can do it at the courthouse. Please get registered. Please get yourself registered to vote. We have actually, just real quick, we talked about healthcare. We've talked about women's rights. We're gonna go back to reproductive justice again. I'm sure we're gonna talk about that a little bit more, because that is a big thing, and it is something that is very vital to our community. We are going to talk a little bit more about the LGBT community, but the biggest thing that I want y'all to take, and you know how we do here, is you don't have to like what the hell we said. Take it offline and have this conversation with your people. Have this conversation with your friends. Have this conversation with your coworkers. You ain't got to talk politics. You're talking about livelihoods. You're talking about human beings. You're talking about compassion. Bruhs, I want to thank y'all so much for taking the time out, giving me the 2 hours of your time for us to have this discussion. And again, we will be back to do another one. We're going to end tonight. You all have a great time, and we wish you all well. And again, this is Real Boys Talk, shooting the shit with the brothers of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We wish you well. And again, remember to vote.